Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon with my raspy voice. I'm getting a little bit over the flu, so hope you guys can understand what I'm saying. You can find us on the radio at iacradio.media, where we are Fox News affiliates. You can also, by the way, we're airing Christmas music 24/7. I love that part of it. You can also find us on the television, Channel 182 Charter Communications, Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on the newscasters.com. Got everybody's favorite. I don't know what everybody's calling you, a therapist. They're calling you all kinds of things. Good things. Julia Christie is with us right now. Well, you are well needed. We get a lot of emails. And so Life After Breath podcast. Let's go ahead and talk about your podcast first.
Absolutely.
And then let's dive in.
So Life After Breath podcast is a daily podcast. It's usually between 7 to 10 minutes long. And there's about 3 to 5 minutes of motivation and ideas, different processes to help you live the life that you want, the life of your dreams, and literally create your own reality. And then we end each day with about 3 to 5 minutes of breath and breathing. And what that does is it does a lot, for one thing, but it really allows you to start your day centered and focused, connected to your inner being, to yourself. You'd think, well, I just got up from bed and I'm pretty rested. You'd be shocked what 3 minutes of just focused breathing does to calm your system, to calm your nervous system. I do it every morning. And then obviously I do it with people that I work with and also the podcast. There are all kinds of like breathing exercises. We don't get into any of that. It's literally just take some deep breaths to connect to yourself and allow yourself to focus on things you don't usually do, to notice what it feels like to breathe. And what we do is we're practicing awareness. How else do you think about practicing awareness? But if I am more aware of each breath that I'm taking, after a while, after probably 2 weeks of doing that, you start to notice more things around you. You start to pay attention and be aware of things, how you talk to yourself, your thoughts, because your thoughts create your emotions. And so if you're feeling very emotional, which a lot of us are this time of year, ask yourself what you're thinking about. And then you have the opportunity to change your thoughts and then no longer feel too bad, or, you know what I mean, wherever you are. And I make it sound super simple. And unfortunately, I have news for you. It is that simple. We just complicate it and get in our way and get in our heads. And I do it too. I absolutely do it too. I'm still human. So it's a natural thing for us. But the more aware we are, and it starts with our breath, the more aware we are to take a deep breath and ask ourselves, why am I feeling this way? Not in judgment, but in curiosity. What can I do different? And like, where are my thoughts? What am I thinking about? Well, I'm thinking about how this jerk made me feel. Okay, well, let's not think about that. You know what I mean? Let's shift our thoughts to something that makes us feel a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, we're thinking feel good thoughts and we start to feel good. It works. And it's how I try to live my daily life.
Well, I'm so glad you have a regular segment on the show, and our viewers love you. But I did have a funny one for you.
Okay.
Mary Claire said to tell you when you're doing the breath, don't reach down and pick up a diaper real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend that. And nor do I recommend you doing too much of it while you're driving, because, if you're closing your eyes, I don't want you to do that while you're driving. That said, it's a great opportunity when you're stuck at a red light or in traffic to, take a deep breath. Nobody likes to sit in traffic, but instead of getting angry about it, let's find a positive. Well, there's nothing positive about traffic. You're right. Traffic sucks, but it's part of our lives and we have to deal with it. So we can be pissy and angry and allow it to ruin our day. And good for you. If that's what you want, good for you. But I don't want that. So I'm going to turn on a piece of music that I love. You were just talking about listening to Christmas music. Listen to Christmas music. Listen to whatever brings you joy. Start bopping out. I got to be honest with you. The other day, it was so funny. I was laughing at myself so hard because I put on a piece of music that made me so happy. And I was just like grooving. And I literally like did a little dance in my house, like danced to the music down the stairs of my apartment building, and then walked outside. And I was walking like I felt like somebody from the 70s strutting down the street. And I was laughing at myself. And then I thought, oh my God, people are seeing me and laughing. And it was like, that's awesome because I'm loving this. I'm having a great time. I'm laughing at myself and I'm making other people laugh too. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, this is great. I wasn't worried about like, what do people think? I was hoping they'd see me and laugh at me and have a great day. You know what I mean? And it all started from just randomly putting a piece of music on. And that's all it takes. But I did that. I chose to do that. I chose to look at it differently, to look at it not like, oh my God, everybody's laughing at me, but like, I hope they are. You know what I mean? Because I feel good laughing at myself. They've got to feel good laughing at me, even just for a moment.
It's okay to be the comedian. I'm good with that.
We pay people to make us laugh.
I think it's okay because I have a garden. I've got to be out in the garden. You know how I am about that.
I do, yeah.
Okay, I put on my Bee Gees. I'm sorry, staying alive. And I'm dancing out in the garden. People passing. I have to think I've lost my complete mind, especially where I live right now. It's a little different than where you are. That's
true. That's true. But I will say there's more people out on the street where I am than there are where you are. Like other people I'm walking past or people driving on the street, it's a little crowded. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter. What matters is that anytime that you are experiencing joy, you are creating what I call a vibrational, what is called a vibrational frequency. And vibrational frequency of joy and love are the highest vibrational frequencies. And that is when you are, to be a little dramatic about it, closest to God, where you feel your absolute best. And you can't, it doesn't matter. You know, all this other stuff doesn't matter. The other thing to do to get to that space is anytime that you're in a space of gratitude. When you start thinking about the people that you love and the things that you like. I loved that piece of music and was thoroughly enjoying it. Even just expressing, oh my gosh, what a beautiful tree. That's gratitude. We tend to like make gratitude all grandiose and big, and we don't need to. Literally just loving how soft your pajamas are is full on enough gratitude to start your day in an amazing way. And you cannot be in a space of gratitude and be angry or upset, because gratitude creates joy. Gratitude creates love for the thing that you're looking at. And I mean, I practically dare you to do it. Be truly grateful for something or for a couple of things and be in a space of gratitude and try to be angry and see if you're angry, and you're not. So if you're feeling angry or sad, start thinking of things that you love. Not like, what am I grateful for? Because that's a challenging question, because we make it something it doesn't have to be. But like, open your refrigerator door. Oh my gosh, I love that condiment. I need to figure out something to make with that condiment because it tastes so good. I love, whatever it is. And all of a sudden you're on this trajectory of, and I love cooking, or I love this, or, and it literally avalanches. It doesn't just snowball. Like, it literally creates to the point where sometimes you feel so overwhelmingly grateful. And then that just makes you happy because you're like, wow, what an amazing life. And you know what I mean? And it's a phenomenal place to be. And I encourage you to start small, but start.
Absolutely. And you got to have people in your life, though, who are healthy as well. And I'll give you an instance.
That's helpful.
So I mean, it really is. I'm so glad I have my husband in my life, because I have had the flu. And so my big thing was I was nervous about recordings this week because I still have a touch of it. It's still out there. And so Phil says, you know what? Keep that raspy voice. I'm concerned about how I sound. And things said, well, I like it. So, and I'm like, oh, wow, then I'll keep a touch of the flu all the time. But she's finding something positive. But let me ask you about this. I know you equate, how you feel and putting something positive in your life. How important is rhythm? And the reason I'm asking that is anyone who does CPR will say, when you're doing CPR on someone, go to the rhythm, staying alive. It's a rhythm. So how important is having a rhythm in your life? Well,
the thing to remember is that you are rhythm. And just like there's an emotional, like we were talking about, that vibrational frequency, your heart beats to a rhythm. I don't know if you know this about me, Donna. I used to teach ballroom dancing. I taught and I competed professional. I competed pro-am. And People would come and and they'd be like, I have no rhythm. And I'm like, well, that's just not true. You just haven't learned how to listen to music. But your heart beats to a rhythm. And as your example, your heart beats to rhythm, you breathe to a rhythm. When you're doing what I'm talking about, as I mentioned, there is a whole gamut of different breathing exercises and ways to breathe to create different types of energy. And so you can learn that. I would highly recommend talking to your physician because it will change your heart rate, your heart, you know what I mean? Like it can be medically helpful or harmful. So just be careful. What we're doing in my podcast and how I breathe is literally just breathing normally. How you breathe, the rhythm you breathe when we're doing what I'm doing isn't as important. We always start out with just a couple of really deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. I call those cleansing breaths. You can really feel they're a little bit more aggressive. And it literally, I ask you to imagine like clean air coming into your nostrils and then allowing the air to like grab onto your stress and tension and worry. And when you exhale it out your mouth, like imagine it leaving like in a gray vapor so that if you see that leaving, you don't really feel it anymore. But then we immediately switch back to breathing in and out through your nostrils. And what that does, I don't care how you breathe. I don't care. I breathe slowly. And so usually when I'm asking you to breathe with me, it's slower. But I often will say, don't pay attention to the rhythm of your breath. Just breathe how you breathe. We're not focusing on that for any purpose other than how does it feel? Feel your lungs expanding and contracting. What else happens in your body? And we're learning about how to be aware of what's happening in our body. When you take a deep breath through your nose, or just any breath through your nose, how far can you feel the air go into your body? You don't really feel the air go all the way down and expand your lungs. But how far can you feel? Have you ever thought about that before? You know what I mean? What your stomach, actually, your diaphragm, rises and falls. Very few people realize that their tummy grows and expands. It's a great exercise to do if you're out walking and you want to work on your abs. Really focus on breathing through your tummy. Your chest rises and falls when you breathe, and some people's shoulders go up and down when they breathe. Or like often when we take a deep breath, we'll, crunch up through our shoulders. So it's literally just paying attention to that and less about the rhythm. But just like the ocean ebbs and flows, we move in a rhythm. There is rhythm. And so anytime you're feeling out of rhythm, stop and take a couple of deep breaths and allow your natural rhythm to come back to you. Breathe at the rhythm that you are naturally comfortable breathing in. And that produces instantly a sense of calm, that sense of peace, of relaxation. And if your focus is solely on what does it feel like to breathe, all the other crap in your life goes away. If you are saying to yourself, in this moment right now, I'm breathing in this moment right now, I'm breathing out, that's all there is room for you to be thinking. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And what you are doing is you're causing yourself to be in this present moment. Depression is worry about the past. Mm-hmm. Anxiety is worry about or fear about the future. We have no control over what has already happened or what might happen. All we have control over is now. And we live in a world that allows us to live in extreme fear of what could happen, of what might happen, or of what we think is.
And as she's talking, looks like I've lost her a little bit frozen in time. She might be just about to come back.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to remind you to keep sending emails. We really love those. Donna@donnasage.com. Okay, yeah. So talking about, I just wanted to mention this. Anytime I'm feeling just a little bit down, and I know everybody has their own place. My place, for some reason, because depression, I mean, it's that time of the year, it almost seems like. Right. Is there more depression during the holidays than any other time of the year, or do we just think about it more?
I think that, I am not a scientist or like a professional therapist, so I say these things from largely an opinion standpoint. It is there's a couple of factors into there being more depression around the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
It can do with the season. A lot of times when the weather gets colder and darker, we tend to move with that. And so we aren't blinded by the sun. And so we can allow ourselves to focus on the dark. And I want to be careful talking about dark as if it's negative, because we wouldn't have the light without the dark. And dark is actually good. And wintering is actually really important. But what happens is we try to maintain our summer energy. Our society has trained us to maintain our summer energy in the winter. That's why we changed the light. That's why we change into daylight savings, is because we don't allow ourselves to hibernate.
Mm-hmm.
We don't allow ourselves to winter. And so I would encourage you to slow down, and that slowing down doesn't need to be sad. That slowing down is actually a beautiful part of, again, the ebb and flow of our seasons. And we are in wintering. And so it's okay to rest more. Your body actually wants it and needs it. Our society turns a blind eye to it, but it's actually really important. The other thing is holidays can trigger a lot of different things. Loved ones who aren't here anymore, who we have so many amazing memories sharing holidays with. And so then that can start to spiral us into grief and sadness. Then we also have estranged family who we don't speak to anymore, family who maybe turn their back on us, or who we have anger towards, or whatever that is. So that's going to trigger more of those things. And then there's family that we may not be estranged from, but we don't necessarily enjoy spending time with, or feel toxic. Their behavior is toxic towards us or in the environment or whatever it is. So all of those things, because we create holidays, tend to focus on the family. If you don't have a good family life, that makes it negative. Do you know what I mean? And so what I would encourage you to do, as especially someone who speaks every day about how to create your own reality, is if you come from a place where you don't have a good family life, you're allowed to create your own family. I actually had a very vivid experience, not livid, where I went to, my grandmother passed away, and I went we didn't really have a funeral, but I went to honor her, and I went and spent some time with her, and I spent some time with my uncles, who I don't have great relationships with, but they're not bad. We just, I live in New York, they're all in California. And so we've grown apart, as you do with like uncles and aunts, Sure. I love them, they love me, but they're over there, And so I spent some time with them. And I remember walking away from them going, we could be friends. Like it would be an effort. They don't know who I am. They don't know much about me. But we could be friends. It would take an effort. I would have to make sure that I tried to call them. They would have to call me back. You know what I mean? But we could be friends. I like them as an adult with another adult. Okay, we could be friends. And at the same time, that same trip, another family friend of mine had passed away. So I went to that memorial, and I went and I walked in to a dinner, and there was just a handful of my friends that had known this man. And I walked in, and they knew everything I'd been up to. We caught up, even though, again, California, New York, they knew what I'd been up to. They wanted to know about my life. We laughed, we hugged, we had such a good time. And I got in my car, and I said to myself, that's my family. I just spent 2 evenings with my 2 different uncles and thought to myself, we could be friends if we tried. Mm-hmm. I walked into that space, and my friends enveloped me with the love of a family. And I knew that's my family. And so that's what I mean. We create our realities. And yes, my uncles are blood, but my family was this group of people who didn't need me to walk them through what I'd done with my life. They knew, and they loved me, and I felt it. And so I would encourage you to release this idea that because you're tied to someone by blood, you have to spend time with them and you have to love them. Love isn't just something that happens. Love is cultured and cultivated, and caring for someone is love. And we throw the word love around as if it doesn't mean anything, as if it doesn't mean what it means. And so make sure that when you're talking about loving someone, that there is care and concern involved, that there's joy, that there's gratitude. And if that's not there, ask yourself without judgment, I wonder why. I wonder why I'm not as excited to see this group of people as I am this group of people, but they're blood, so they're family, so I have to love them. No, you don't. I can tell you, as a person who was abused by my father, I always felt like I had to love him until I got into where I am as an adult and realized on the phone with him one day, he's gone now, but I hung up the phone and I thought to myself, if I met him at a party through a friend, I would never want to talk to him again. But because he's my dad, I feel like I have to. And so I would like to give anybody who's listening to this permission to release that. You have permission to not spend time with people who have harmed you, who continue to harm you, or who are people that you would never associate with outside of your quote unquote regular life. Just because, I mean, technically he gave me life, but I didn't need him in my life. He was not somebody who I wanted in my world. And that's okay. I can still be grateful for his donation. You know what I mean? But I don't need to experience him and who he is every day. And that's okay.
I like being around you. And let me tell you one reason I love being around you. Many. But one is you and I could not talk to each other for an entire month. Right. I don't feel like I have to explain anything to you.
No.
It's just so amazing. I feel like you accept me as I am. Absolutely. But you always know when something's up. I mean, you always do.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We don't have a choice to accept someone for who they are, because they're who they are. And you can't, I work with people. I'm a healer. I can't change anybody. I can give you all the advice, the recommendations, the guidance in the world, but you got to do it. And so I can tell you this will change your life, but I can't make you do it. And so in the same way, people are who they are. And when we get into arguments, whether it's about politics or this or that, you can't change anybody's mind. That's why we've talked about this ad nauseum about, like, okay, you want to have a different opinion of mine on Facebook? Cool. I'm not going to argue with you because I know I'm not going to change your mind. I can give you more information. I can give you some guidance of how I came to my thing. But what I'd love to say is, like, Donna, I do accept you for who you are. And yet when we have something that we disagree on, instead of going in defense mode about my opinion, what I like to do is get curious. Tell me more about that. How did you come to that conclusion? Because I don't understand that conclusion. And if I can make sure that I don't get triggered by what you say, I don't allow myself to get angry because we disagree, or because you say something flippant, or maybe you even say something, you wouldn't do this, but I know it happens. You say something that, like, feels like an attack on my opinion. If I can allow you to have that and be the bigger, better person, to be honest, and not allow your perceived attack to affect me, I can just laugh that off and be like, okay, well, you know, and it's interesting that you say that. Do you have information to back it up? Or I can drop it and change the subject. I can't change who you are, but I can love the things about you that I do love. And if you have people in your life that you kind of have to be with this holiday, maybe it's like your husband's sister who you just are like oil and water with, you kind of don't have a choice. And I know sometimes we think, well, then I'm just going to stay home. That is absolutely an option. And sometimes that's what you have to do to protect yourself.
I've had to do that.
Yeah. And that's okay. Just like I said before, I would love to give you permission to do that. The thing, I'm going off on a tangent here, but we've talked about this before. It feels selfish. I'm being selfish. Okay, cool. That's our perceived idea about what selfish is. But this is your life. This is your life. It belongs to you. So if I tell you, Donna, I need your time, and you say I don't have it, I have no right to tell you that you're selfish. Now, you could not have it because you don't want to spend time with me. And that's cool. I don't need to know that. You don't need to say that. You can just say, I don't have it. I can't be there. You don't have to give me an explanation why. You can say, I can't be there. And I could get all mad and say you're being selfish. But who's being selfish? I am. I'm asking you for your time and throwing a fit when you don't give it to me. I'm being selfish. So if you need to be selfish, if that feels selfish to you to stay home and protect yourself, freaking be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Again, let me give you permission, because it's going to protect yourself and you are going to do something healthy for yourself and living your life. That's self-care. Saying no is self-care, and no is a complete sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to give an explanation. And if you feel like you have to give an explanation, give a little bit of the explanation, not the whole thing. They don't need to know every time I'm around Aunt Fran, I feel completely like crap. She makes me angry and I don't want to be angry today.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say that. You can just say, our time here is up. Oops, we got some. Walk in, and if you don't want to stay the whole night, walk in and say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here, but don't forget, we have somewhere to be. We're not going to be able to stay all night. And once you get to that tipping point where I'm starting to get angry, I'm starting to feel triggered, I'm starting to whatever, okay, time for us to leave. Remember, we said we had to leave early. Thank you so much. This has been amazing, And then sometimes that's not an option either. You haven't had dinner yet, or, like you walk in and you're triggered or whatever that is. My big recommendation is take a deep breath and change your environment.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the room, go for a walk outside, like walk to your car for a second, go sit in your car for a second. You know what I mean? Like change your environment, take some deep breaths and allow yourself to change your thoughts. Don't
Mm-hmm.
focus on what they were talking about. Don't remember the rude thing that they said to you. Literally just go change your thoughts. Oh my gosh, I had such an amazing morning. My makeup looks fierce today. Whatever it is, and start shifting your focus on something that feels good. I don't want to tell you like, go be positive, because that situation is not okay. Anytime that you are feeling taken advantage of or not taken care of or attacked or any of those feelings, that's not okay. Can you control it? What is within your control? To get out of there, to change your environment. And so I don't mean leave forever, but to get out of that room.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take some deep breaths. The likelihood of you leaving a room for 5 minutes, go help in the kitchen, go do some extra dishes, go to the bathroom, pretend you have to pee again. Like seriously, pretend nobody's listening. And if they are,
before.
Right,
Sorry,
exactly.
it's something I ate. I've got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, again, oh my gosh, I'm drinking so much water, whatever it is. And and just remove yourself for 5 minutes. The likelihood of you walking back into that room and then picking up where you left off 5 minutes ago is so small. It's so small. So you are in control. No, remember that just like you can't change anybody's mind, nobody can make you mad. You allow yourself to react with anger. You allow yourself. Now, I'm not saying they can't say things that are harmful, but you can release that. You can step away, take those deep breaths, and literally just say, I'm not thinking about this. I'm not putting my energy or my focus into this. This is who they are. I don't like it, and that's okay. And I can't do anything about it. So I'm going to do what I can, and I'm going to protect myself, and I'm going to stay staring at myself in this bathroom mirror, admiring what a great job I did on my makeup. My hair looks amazing today. I love these earrings. You know what I mean? All of those things.
You know what? You just answered a question for Gracie, and Gracie said that she has an aunt. Every Christmas, everyone avoids her because she is so critical. And
Right.
She said she notices every ounce someone gains in their hair, if it's a different color, and she loves to call people out on things. And she said, but she's always alone. And she said she just feels very sorry for her.
Yeah. So because she's older, remember that she's got all of these years of doing that. Mm-hmm. Also remember that is it's one of two things, and it's probably both. It's either a learned behavior, because that's how someone treated her, or insecurity. And it's probably both, because if somebody treated her that way, she found herself so insecure by all of the criticism and all of the hurtful comments that she doesn't know what else to do but to protect herself. Maybe she's attacking you because of your ounce of weight gained because she knows she's gained 3 pounds. Maybe she's, you know what I mean? Or because she never had control over her weight or whatever that is. And I'm not saying that that makes it okay, but it gives you just a little bit of empathy to be like, I feel sorry for you, you know? And it's very possible if you have a relationship, I know nobody wants to be around her, so that I'm assuming you don't have the kind of relationship, but you, if she used to go to sit down to her and say hello and she criticizes your outfit, it's easy to say, you know, I'm so glad you noticed. I actually love this outfit. Can you find something you like about it? Or if you don't like my outfit, did you notice how great my hair looks today? And flip the script on her a little bit. Oh, you don't like my outfit? That's okay. I love it, but I really like what you're wearing. And start being nice to her and see what happens. Because I would bet that the next time you see her, or maybe the next time you walk into the room, she's not going to say something critical because you've brought it to her attention. And if it goes beyond that, let's play a game. Let's play a game, man. I'm going to sit right next to you. You're sitting over here by yourself. I love you, so I want to spend some time with you. It's been months since I've seen you. I want to sit down with you, but let's play a game. Every person that walks in here, let's find something beautiful about them.
Grand idea.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game. And then it'll be our secret. And from across the room, we'll be like, oh, that was funny. She's funny. Compliment. You know, like, and make it fun. If you want to cultivate that relationship and in a very kind way, bring to her attention how critical she is. And start with yourself. And it doesn't feel good when she says crap to you, but you can say to her, I appreciate your knowing your opinion. I love this sweater, but you don't have to. You don't have to wear it. So, but I really like yours. That color complements your skin tone beautifully. And she's going to be like, wait, what? She didn't get the reaction that she gets when people.
You feel like people like that, it's mainly a cry for help.
It is. That's what I mean. It's because they've learned it and because they are super insecure themselves.
It's a whole new way to look at it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. When people, well, there's a couple of things, but when people are, it's because it's a defense. It's insecure. And you can say to yourself, that has nothing to do with me.
True.
And that's why when we get 5 compliments on our sweater and one person tells us that they don't like it or that it makes us look fat or that whatever, don't put your focus on that one negative comment. You just got 5 other comments. That one negative comment does not have to ruin your day. You can allow it to, sure. You are in control of that. And if and when we hold on to only those negative things, we end up only seeing negative things both about ourselves and about the people around us. And that's where your aunt is, unfortunately.
Let's go into a commercial break.
Yeah, no worries.
Can you believe we went over 30 minutes? Wow.
No.
We'll be back in just a minute. Raspy voice and all. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you. Julia Christine loves to come home with you as well. We received a lot of emails, and we talked about the critical auntie. And, you know, man, I mean, you're spot on. That's perfect. I mean, I'm going to use that one. So, to a number of folks.
Just remember, it's not about you. Don't take it on. Don't take it on.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
It's just not a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking about holidays and, you know, why sometimes we dread the holidays and that kind of thing. Okay. And then this one comes from Mark. And Mark said that he has family members. He hates when he comes in to talk to the ladies, they're gossiping. And he doesn't like that part of the holiday. So what do you say about the gossip? The person who's got to talk about everybody.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say, if you know that about a person, don't talk to them. Like, as far as like, don't tell them your secrets, because you know they're not sticking with you. You know.
Right.
I have a friend who's a talker, and I love her, and we have so much fun. She knows nothing about me. So yeah. Because I know she's a talker. So that's the first piece of advice, but that doesn't sound like your question. I think that's, you know, you can go into the ladies and if you notice it, I mean, it's up to you. You could call attention to it and be like, seriously, do we really have to talk crap about people? Or like, let's say something kind about that person. Or if you want to continue to hang around with them again, and I make it like a joke, but I've done this. I had some friends over and they started talking about another friend of ours, and I shifted because it makes me uncomfortable too. It's a lower vibration, to be completely honest. And again, it's coming from insecurities. It's coming from and it's not about those people. It's not about you. It's totally about those people that are talking and gossiping and their insecurities. So what I started doing is they were saying these negative things about, or what she said. I was like, well, first of all, we don't know that. We don't know. We weren't there. We don't know that she said XYZ. But did you see her there? Did you see her the other day? Oh my God, her sweater was so pretty. And again, I start twisting but she's so kind. Every time I see her, she's always smiling. You know what I mean? Something that, again, it shifts, and all of a sudden the person, and then we not only are changing the vibration of the conversation because we're putting a positive spin on it, but we're going to change their opinions too. And like, that's true. She always does have a smile on her face, but she can talk blah, blah, blah. But she's also so kind. Did you know that she takes care of her family? Like, you know, whatever it is. And you can kind of manipulate the situation and start shining light on those people that they're speaking negatively to. And it's a subconscious thing of drawing attention to positive things about those people. And then it's not as gossipy. It doesn't feel as dirty. Obviously the easy answer is just say hi and leave. You know what I mean? Stay out of that environment. And even if you are in that environment and you try to put a spin on the positive and they don't take the bait, so to speak, then you can stay for as long as possible and then check out, go back to the other room and just, I'm good here, start the conversation. If somebody, starts to move into a different direction with you, like one-on-one, and starts gossiping about somebody, you can do a couple things. You could easily say, you know what, I'm not interested in what you think what somebody said about somebody else. You can say, I don't like talking about that. That takes a lot of courage because that, it feels aggressive a lot of times. And then the other person can sometimes feel judged, even though that wasn't the intent. But you can, again, find something positive to say about that person or change the subject. Be like, I don't know about that, but did you hear that? You know what I mean? Did you see that amazing football play the other day? Or, whatever it is. And you can kind of control those situations and try to shift them or avoid them. Because I will say in all of this, whether we're talking about family or friends or whatever, remember that I don't believe that there is such thing as toxic people. There are toxic behaviors and there are toxic, obviously what we say, but those are learned behaviors. So toxicity does exist, but people, who we are here and in our being, is not toxic. You'll notice that the people that you find saying are toxic people, if you take a step back and really look, they're just unhappy. They're unhappy and insecure. And they don't know what else to do with that besides spread it around. And so that's where you can find empathy. And that doesn't mean that you have to be walked on. It just means that now you have a different perspective and you have a better sense of how to move forward and how to make sure that toxicity doesn't affect you. Because you don't have to take any of that on. You don't have to take the rude comment from the aunt. You can switch that around. I love this sweater. What are you talking about? It looks great on me. That's an amazing response. And you're
taking their power away.
Well, when you're
stunning them is what you're doing. You're stunning them. They're like,
and yeah, absolutely. And showing them that their toxicity is going to wash off of you and you don't have to take it on. No one can make you mad. And when you allow someone to make you mad, you're literally giving them your power on a platter. But if you hold on to your own power and are like, I'm not buying into it this time. I'm not going to take on your crap and I'm not going to allow you to lower my vibration. I'm having a great day and I'm not going to let anybody ruin that. Thank you very much. Thank you for your input. My life. I'm good.
I've got a Victoria right here who sent one, and she has a sister who was divorced like 30 something years ago, who every Christmas holiday has to talk about the divorce. 30 years ago. I'll have to tell you, that sounds a little like my mother too.
Well,
we all get tired of it. I'm sorry, but we do get tired of it.
Oh dear. I have all these ideas in my head. I'm like, none of them are very helpful. Oh, that makes me sad for her. Honestly, that makes me really sad. Because she hasn't moved on. 30 years is a long time.
What can you do? I mean,
honestly, you can't do anything because
my mother does this. And so the only thing I know to do, and tell me if I'm doing the right thing, I just get up and go into the kitchen and start cooking again.
I mean, yeah, that's
what else to do.
Changing your environment is a good thing. I mean, if she's talking one-on-one to you, you can't really just get up and leave.
No, it's like it's like a whole, like an audience of people.
Right. Yeah.
And it was my dad. So it was like, you had to bring that up.
Right. No. That's challenging. I think that, again, you can be like, well, you married him for a reason. Like, I know the divorce was hard, but while you guys were together, it was a really good relationship until it went bad. Or like, I don't know, but I don't think that that's helpful either. I don't think, Wow, I feel a little stuck on this one. There's not a whole lot you can do in the moment. I feel like it might be something that if you have a relationship with this person, maybe take them aside and say, you bring this up every year. It might be time for us to talk to somebody about it because it obviously is still really bothering you. Let's get you some therapy. Let's get you some help. Do you have somebody to talk to about this so that you can move forward in your life? I hate to see you stuck. I love you. And it was 30 years ago. Not that it's time to let it go. That's up to you. I'm not going to judge you for holding on to it, but I don't want you to be hurting. And since it keeps coming up, I can't help but feel like it does still hurt. And so I want you to live a life full of love. I want you to find more love. I want you to, you know what I mean? And all the amazing things that you deserve because you're an amazing woman and you're my aunt and I love you. But you got to be tired of talking about it because
we're tired of hearing
about it. Exactly. So, I mean, if there's that kind of a relationship there, I feel like that is absolutely the best course of action. And you might be even able to preempt it by saying, hey, do we get to hear about your divorce again? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that preempting is a good idea, but I don't know if it's in the one-on-one situation where you could have that conversation or if you even feel bold enough to say that in front of the family. Like, we talk about this every year, not in a judgmental way. Like, when are you going to freaking move on? Even though that's, I'm sure, what you're thinking. But you can say, like, I want you to be able to move forward with your life. You deserve a life that isn't hung up on something that happened 30 years ago.
How about maybe putting them in charge of something like we do Dirty Santa every year?
Oh yeah.
So like let her or him, they're men to do that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Let them, here's a piece of paper. We have 20 people here. Go ahead and cut the squares, and then we're going to play Dirty Santa, and maybe just keep them busy doing something so that their mind is not so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And as soon as you can, coming in and changing the subject is always a good idea. Changing the environment, getting them involved in something. Hey, will you help me over here for a second? Create something else.
Yeah.
And just be like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, can we go do this? And then like that's actually really, really good because that's an in the moment thing.
I've done that
maybe
my
later
entire life. Every
Yeah.
Christmas, I look for things to keep Mother busy. So
Yeah.
that we don't have to hear about
So
it.
funny. I want to hear about the divorce. That's a good idea is to
So Victoria,
interrupt, Victoria, interrupt. And if you do have a relationship, I think it's past time to sit down and say, hey, let's get you some help, let's.
Yeah, because it can keep some family members from even coming because they know that's going to be ruined. And as your family gets bigger, you have kids, you get grandkids and all this stuff, you really don't want them to have to be involved in all of that.
Right, absolutely.
Christmas is supposed to be a joyous time.
And it can be. And it is, like I said, it does bring a lot of pain to a lot of people. And I think that you mentioned earlier that like this is this new? Like it seems recently. And I don't think so. I think we just live in a world today where we know more about it. There's social media everywhere. People speak. People love to be heard. And so they talk about how much they're dreading it or how much they, hate their family or whatever that is. And additionally, like the factual part of it about like suicide rates going up and stuff like that, that's our news networks. We've got 24-hour news networks. And so like we hear more about it. It's not that it's new. It's that we're just hearing more about it. People are allowed to speak their truths in ways that they never were before. And so people are emboldened and empowered to speak. And on one hand, that's really great. On another hand, not so much. But so I do think it has always existed. And I think that the thing to remember is that you are in control of you. You don't owe anyone anything just because they're blood. You don't. And you are allowed to not go or to create your own fun. Bring a game if you like games. Like bring something to do and involve people in that. Excuse me. I don't want to encourage everybody to like go get drunk, but my brother and I were not looking forward to one of our holiday experiences with the big family because we have evolved so much and so differently from that part of our family And so we made peppermint martinis and unintentionally got everybody drunk. But it was so much fun because we brought the shakers and we brought the martini glasses and it became really fun. And I'm not saying get your family drunk and everything's going to be okay, but it became a game. It was fun for us to create these things, and we all cheers together, and it was a coming together thing. And then they were delicious, and so everybody wanted more, and then eventually it led to some drunkenness. And that's not my point, but my point is, like, make a different drink, make a there are things you can do to, like, honestly, we brought those for us. Like, we wanted to make sure that we got through the day, and then we made sure we had enough for everybody. And it turned into this thing that, like, they all wanted to learn how to make the martini. They all, like, they wanted, so it made it fun. Again, I'm not encouraging everyone to get your family drunk. That's just an interesting example.
You just reminded me. This one is from. I've got a lot of folks who say so Jason said what he does is this is something you could try. He said he hates going to his family get-togethers because they're just, and he has grown and they haven't. But anyway,
you're right. Yes, I understand, Jason.
He said that he always has somebody call and say you're needed on the job.
Yeah. Like getting out of a bad date. Be like, oh my goodness.
Oh, I just got a text. I've got to go.
Yeah,
there's an emergency.
Exactly.
But Jason, your family might get suspicious if you do this every single
week.
week.
If you do it all the time. No, that, I don't hate it. I'm not going to tell you not to do that, because if you need to do that to protect yourself, do it. I get it. I totally understand. I wish that you could be more honest, and you know what I mean? And obviously some of those conversations you're not going to have, but with some people, or go into it saying, I'm so excited, but also I have a friend's giving that I have to go to, or like my friend's Christmas party is the same day and I committed to it. So I'm only going to be here for a short time, but I wanted to see everybody, give you the gifts, exchange, you know what I mean? Exchange some energy, and then I'm out, and that way you don't have to lie, and pretend. But at the same time, I am mostly interested in you protecting yourself and your energy. And if it makes you sad, depressed, angry, get out of there. Change your environment. Leave the room. Text your friend to say, I need you to call me and tell me there's an emergency. Whatever that is, I think that that's okay. I really, really do.
Well, I'll have to tell you, on Phil's side of the family, I married the coolest one. However,
of course,
Phil had a brother. His name was Larry. And Larry was a master at changing it. Larry lived out of state, lived in Texas, successful business, the whole works. So he would come back to Alabama for Christmas. And at one time it's kind of a little lull. And so Phil and I hadn't been married that long, and we were sitting at the table, and Larry just looked over at me and he started singing that, I want to hear some funky Dixie songs. Mama's going to take me by the hand. I can
and
say,
then everybody,
what's that code? I can get it. Wow, I got the logo. And then I started going, he started singing, by the hand. I went, hand by the hand, pretty mama. And it was like everybody stared at us. But anyway, it broke the monotony.
Yeah.
I mean, it did it. Of course, they were all looking at me and him like we were crazy. But anyway,
that makes me sad. I was hoping the whole table joined in. No, I'm picturing this.
No, it was just Larry and me. Phil was outside, or he would have been inside doing something.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah, some people just have that one family member that you can see it's not going as exciting as I thought it would be. It's not like the old movies on television where you get all this.
None of it is, and you need to understand that too. When you have family, I love and I know you do too. I'm not taking that away from you. Even the people that you feel like are toxic or, that trigger you or whatever, there's a love there. And I understand that. And I'm not telling you not to love your family. Absolutely. But my mom, my brother, and I are really, really tight. We're really close. And so I can relate to those happy ending family, It's a Wonderful Life kind of like things with that part of my family. Now, don't get me wrong. We struggle, we argue, we are human, and so that happens, and we're our individual people, persons, but on a larger scale, I don't believe that Norman Rockwell painting of an entire family getting along, sitting around a Thanksgiving table exists. It's what we've been told family should be. And it's not, because we are all our own individual people. And as children grow, it's okay for you to be a different person than your mom, than your dad, than your aunt, than your uncle, than your grandma. I want you to be. I feel like I don't like using this word often, but you should be, because you are your own person. You are different, period. We are all uniquely made and created. And so you're going to have conflict, and but hopefully we can all take a deep breath and put that conflict aside for a little bit of time together. And sometimes that is 5 minutes, and sometimes it's 2 hours, and that's okay. Sometimes it's 10 hours, whatever you can stomach, whatever you can handle. Protect yourself, take those deep breaths, change your environment if you can't leave, change the subject if you can't leave, compliment people. You be the light in the room, because there's no one can darken that light but you. They can try, but you can allow it to, or you can shine bright and return their volley with a compliment, with love. And it's so much easier said than done. And I agree with that. But it's also a practice. Up until this point, we have practiced allowing them to affect us. And so now I'm challenging you a little bit to change your habit, change your perspective, and start to protect yourself by volleying love back. And it becomes easy. The reason why it's easy to allow someone to affect you is because you've done it your whole life. And so it will become more easy to switch the subject, to look for the happy, to look for the compliment, to be aware of your surroundings the more you practice it.
Absolutely perfect advice. But I wanted to mention one other thing. You're going to laugh at this one.
Okay.
So think about, what we're conditioned to do and conditioned to be. Okay, so like on the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Okay, what woman in the real world is decorating a Christmas tree with a dress on, a Sunday dress with high heels, climbing up a ladder, putting tinsel on the tree?
No one anymore.
Not even gets there. It's just the husband and kids.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, is that we talked about this last month as far as the societal gender roles. And so that made sense once, that was the perfect wife and the perfect woman.
In my high heels climbing up.
Who would do that? Who would only wear high heels out and about? Who would only wear, always have a party dress on, or whatever that is. And that was depicted as the ideal woman, the ideal wife, the ideal family. And that's my point around sitting around the table. That doesn't really exist. And yes, we create it in movies. And that's why, honestly, Donna, that's why people love A Christmas Story. Because A Christmas Story, when that was made in 1982 or something like that, that was the first holiday movie that showed a dysfunctional family, that showed a real family. Personally, I can't stand that movie, but I'm very much in the minority there. And it's because people relate to it. I understand not wanting to go to the freaking party. I understand, you know what I mean? I understand not getting what you want for Christmas. I understand, all of the stuff, and it's relatable. And so go into these parties and to these gatherings knowing that you are not alone. You are not alone, and the numbers prove it. The fact that we're having this conversation about seasonal holiday depression and anger and those types of things proves it. You are not alone. The woman in the heels putting tinsel on a tree in a party dress on Christmas Eve with screaming children running around, still having to bake and cook and all of those things. That's a minority, a very, very small minority. Absolutely. Don't compare yourself to what you see in the movies at all.
Girl, we got college.
It doesn't exist.
Thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. This was fun.
Hang around. We'll put you on for next month, okay?
Okay.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a pleasant holiday.